Definitely. Now, for our questions, I kind of want to start off broad and then narrow down. So you started Dent Global in 2011, and you've stated that in the 2010s, every business had to become a media company. That was where the focus is at. But now in the 2020s, we're all becoming a data business. So how has that change affected you, and how is it affecting business owners today?
Yeah, so I look at the US presidential elections as like a big trend-setting moment, right? Because it's the most fiercely contested marketing campaign in the world, right? It's the Formula One of marketing. So there was like almost 100 years ago, there was Franklin Roosevelt, and he did something very unique called a fireside chat on radio, on national radio. And that launched the radio as the dominant channel for communication from print. JFK in the 60s had a debate with Nixon, and it was live television. And that was the moment that television became the dominant thing for communicating with people. It was the number one marketing strategy for decades. And then along comes Obama, and he does Obama everywhere, social media marketing. Obama '08 campaign was all about connection through social media. He's on Twitter, he's on Facebook, he's on YouTube. And that was the time where I started telling all my entrepreneur friends, you've got to be a media business. This thing is like, it's no longer a toy. It's no longer something teenagers do. It's something that every business in the world is going to have to get their head around and actively engage with. But then in 2016, there was this company called Cambridge Analytica, which started hacking into elections. And they actually, when I say hacking into elections, they had a very Machiavellian approach to winning elections, where they would collect huge amounts of data from Facebook, and they would do this thing called personalization. So personalization is where they create a mechanism of delivering exactly the message to you that you need to hear, and it's completely different to what other people are seeing. So someone who really cares about hospitals gets messages about, we're going to be building hospitals. Someone who really cares about gun rights might get all the gun rights stuff. And the whole spectrum of things, you're able to create a personalized campaign. Now, the way they did that is they got people to fill in quizzes and scorecards and answer questions. They crunched that data, and then they fed back advertising to those people based on how they responded. So it was a very personalized approach, and it was almost considered to be cheating. That it's like, whoa, wait a second, this is technologically way more advanced than we ever saw coming. And Brexit, Cambridge Analytica were behind Brexit, they were behind Trump. So all of these upset campaigns that kind of upset the status quo were driven by data, huge amounts of data and insights. So when we see something like that happen in the US presidential elections, what you can actually predict is that that will be the dominant trend until something major comes along and disrupts that trend. So what we're now seeing is that personalization, which was the marketing word of the year in 2019, personalization is becoming the big trend. And at the moment, only huge companies know how to do it. But in the beginning of media, only huge companies knew how to do media. And then today, every little business on the planet knows how to do media. They're all on their Instagram, and they're doing their lives, and they're doing their TikToks and their podcasts. So they all figured out how to do the media. What's going to happen next is that the big companies are winning through data analytics, and the small companies are going to have to learn how to do that. They're going to have to figure out how to collect data and then give a personalized experience based on the data. And that's going to be the big trend.
Right, definitely. And then can you play profit for a moment and maybe look into the future? What do you think the 2030s will look like? What's that possibly going to be?
If we make it.
Yeah.
So look, from, as we know now, we've got things like artificial intelligence coming. So if I was to play profit, here's what I would imagine. There'll be a US presidential election towards the end of the 2020s. Every single person will receive a personalized video addressing them by name and discussing the issues that matter. So it'll say, hi, Natasha, it's Daniel Priestley. As you know, I'm your candidate. I know that you really care about small business, and I want to tell you about what we're doing for small business. Now, it'll look like a video, and it'll address you by name, and it'll talk about certain key issues, but it'll be completely AI generated. It'll be a deep fake video. and it'll be using a script that is based on the data that that we know about you as an individual. A different person will get a completely different video, but it'll be a deepfake video, right? So if I was to play profit in the marketing world, that's what I expect to see sometime in the next 5 to 10 years.